At 8 a.m. on February 26, OU's Black Emergency Response Team, also known as BERT, began a sit-in at Evans Hall. They presented the university with a list of demands, including the creation of a new multicultural center on campus, the implementation of a semester-long diversity training class, and the resignation of Provost Kyle Harper. Dean of Students David Surratt and Vice President for Diversity and Inclusion Belinda Higgs-Hippolyte met with BERT leaders behind closed doors. As numbers grew, students were directed to the second and third floors. And as the day went on, BERT released a list of grievances against Provost Harper. OU Unheard tweeted documentation of Provost Harper's strengths and weaknesses as stated by the Provost Search Committee before his hiring. At 5 p.m., the end of business hours, an announcement was made that the doors would be locked and no entry of any kind would be allowed into Evans Hall until 8 a.m. the following morning. Protesters already in the building were allowed to leave. At 5:30, Interim President Joseph Harris returned to Evans Hall to continue negotiations with BERT behind closed doors. Protesters settled down or left for the night as unarmed police officers entered to maintain security overnight. Around 7:30, BERT emerged saying that not all of their demands had been met.
As you guys have seen, that we have been talking to our higher administration about everything that's happening today and what we've asked. At this time, I can say that not all of our demands have been met, but we will still be here as long as we need to until those demands have been met. I know there's some people asking about resources. They can continue to bring resources to this door, as well if there's people talking about wanting to be in here that cannot at this time. There is a group in Beard Lounge, but let it be known that we will be staying in here until all of our demands have been met, and they have not at this time. Thank you.
The university released a statement that recognized the students' right to protest and the problematic racist events leading to the protest. Remaining administrators left the building for the night, and students spent their first night in Evans Hall. As business hours began on the second day of the sit-in, students and faculty arrived on campus to find signs on statues calling for Provost Harper's resignation. Harris arrived around 9 a.m. Keisha Keith relayed that BERT would be meeting with administrators, Kyle Harper among them, and handed out a statement saying some demands had already been met, and a plan being presented to OU's Board of Regents on March 10th or 11th. At around 11 a.m., BERT responded to the university's statement that the ball was in their court and clarified the nature of the strike.
Keisha Keith has made a statement by the University of Oklahoma that the ball is in our court. Our demands have still not been met. So we will continue to do a sit-in, continue to be on a hunger strike until all our demands are met. We would like to make a clarification since there is some misknowledge being shared in the media. Some of us are on the hunger strike. 6 of the BERT exec members are on hunger strike. They have still not ate since 8 a.m. of yesterday. Not all of us are on hunger strike. The food here is to provide nourishment to those not on the hunger strike but are participating in the sit-in. Thank you so much. No comments or questions at this time.
At noon, BERT met with Harper and possibly Surratt and Higgs-Hippolyte at an undisclosed location. After the meeting, BERT reiterated once more that their demands had not been met, and the ball had always been in the university's court. At 5 p.m. sharp, university employees locked the door to Evans Hall, marking the end of the second day of the ongoing protest. At around 6:30, President Harris released a statement saying he will not meet the demands for Provost Harper's resignation. Shortly after, BERT responded saying they would bring additional demands the following morning.
Conversation with upper administration. They will be releasing a statement within probably the next hour listing the demands that the president, Surratt, and Hippolyte have been able to meet. And one of the demands they have not been able to meet as well is the resignation of Provost Kyle Harper. However, to that we have came to consensus and be able to soon, tomorrow, be able to release that to you all, a very detailed and outlined plan. Even though we're not getting a resignation, we are making systematic change and keeping a checks and balance system happening at the University of Oklahoma, specifically within the office of the president and the provost. So I want to thank you all for being here continuously and being able to help meet these demands today. So I appreciate y'all.
The students returned to sleep for the second night in Evans Hall, ready to continue negotiations for a third day of the sit-in.